Action item placed at your setting tonight. Adult family home, adult group home transitional. And I'll just let staff introduce this as well.
Go ahead, Tom. I'll talk to them.
We did some checking with this one. This language here comes from actually the city of Hudson, which provides a definition of the group home, family home, and a group home that's transitional, which is a little bit more inclusive from what we currently have in code as to what kind of clientele can, legally stay in these types of facilities. So we're trying to be a little more inclusive with respect to broken chains, which we've already reviewed, and trying to provide somewhere where those types of individuals could reside, at least on a transitional basis or maybe even a temporary basis. So we're just trying to look at, like I said, just trying to broaden that definition with, that's just review of the one city's. I thought that was pretty good though so far.
So the issue here is that you're going to get, and it's very difficult not to process the type of homes that are out there for a multitude of people that are transitioning, and I'm going to use the word transitioning back into society for some reason or another, whether it's somebody connected to Oriana House or because of the need for group home assistance. We've always covered the developmentally disabled, but that's not the only group home out there today. So what we've tried to do, and this is kind of an odd thing, is you'll see that they're right now we just kind of took a quick glance, and you saw it wasn't on the agenda, but we thought we'd get it out here to you. So we'll probably still put this on as a discussion item next month. So a lot more discussion. Trying to put them more so into some of the business zones, because we do have homes that are non-compliant within business zones. This has not been run by the law director. We've got to make sure that we're not opening ourselves up to potential lawsuits in regard to federal law. So, but if we can kind of gear this towards that we feel it's more of a business and should be in proper zones, that's where we're leaning. But we may have to pull back on that a little bit. So just take a look at this one and provide us any comments. And if you think of anything, shoot us an email. But we'll put this on as a discussion item next month, because I don't think we're quite ready. And this filters down from federal government, to local, county-wide organizations that kind of monitor this stuff. So we want to make sure that we are compliant with any of those codes. But the need exists, even in green, for the type to bring people that are transitioning out of certain issues.
Yeah, I did get a chance to look at it, but I like setting up the adult group home transitional. I think that's a great idea. I think that really helps. My only thought was, I've seen some of these where they were never, they weren't at another jail there. They were not at another facility. They were just assigned to this house. And it looks to me like it's like they're transitioning or returning from an institutional. I don't know if that covers everybody, because sometimes they may have not been there. They just were assigned to this house. So it's the definition maybe just needs tweaked a little bit.
Okay.
When I look at the last page, when you start saying what's conditional, what's permitted, and stuff like that, I've done, I don't know, 20, 30 of these types of homes over the years. I just have one just opened up in Medina just last month, and it's for 3 adults, and you would never know that it was anything different than any of the rest of the houses in the neighborhood. So it's in a single-family residential neighborhood, and it looks like a regular house. If that group moved out, somebody could just turn around and just sell it as a regular single-family residence. There's really no difference. So I'm questioning why a to 6 adults could not be in an R1. I guess maybe that's, maybe make that my thought was maybe that make that a conditional instead of, not permitted at all. And then when I look at one of these group homes, the transitional group homes, I mean, it's conditional on an R2, and I sort of understand the logic. So you could have an apartment building, or you could have one of these transitional homes right next to it. Is that kind of the intent? So it's more of a higher density location, but certainly not put it in any kind of R1 or an RR.
I don't think in the R2, I guess, our R2s are multifamily.
Right.
But I think the issue is if you go in with this use, you would be conditionally permitted. I think we've pretty much made it conditionally permitted unless we knew it was going into a planned development as being permitted.
Okay.
So because there is a review on that in a planned development, I think is why we simply permitted it there. But basically, across the board, it's like we want to be able to notify adjacent property owners, contiguous property owners. And I will pose a question about the R1.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious, because I opened one a couple of years ago in Medina and another one in Westfield. And they're all just single-family residential neighborhoods. There's no restrictions on those.
Okay.
But you'll get more pushback, at least in green.
Yeah, no, I understand. The transitional, I totally agree. I can understand it. We definitely need to control where those go, because there's great appropriate locations for those, and then there's ones that just aren't. So I totally agree with that. But when you're talking about a group home of 3 to 6 adults, I could tell you where they were, and you would not know.
Right, but if you read the description of it's, social, behavioral, disciplinary problems, just say it the way it is, people don't want that in an R1 district. We'll get pushback on that.
I agree.
But I guess imagine every parcel of land that we have in the city of Green that's R1 or RR. Some cases, there's some large parcels. If somebody really wanted to put a home on a larger piece of land, might be adjacent, we've got situation, it could be adjacent to a business zoned area, or, it might.
But it might not, so why have to fight that fight?
I guess if it was I guess they'd have the other option. If it's a larger piece of land, or depending on the location, they'd come and have to ask for the rezoning prior to being able to even ask for conditionally permitted use of a group home, right?
I think it takes some time here, because Reed, and I know we laid this out tonight, but it was because I thought it's just laid out.
It's better to talk.
If you read the difference between the adult family home, just take your time, we're not going anywhere with this. Adult family home, which is permitted in the R1 and the R2, okay? And you read through, and then the transitional, which we pulled back out of the R1, R2. Just take a look at those definitions, and I think it might answer some of your questions.
Okay.
So we're not, we apologize because we didn't get this out in your packet, but we wanted to get it in front of you so that there's plenty of time to discuss this thing.
It's a good start. Did you look at other communities besides Hudson
Not at
with
this point,
respect
no.
to adult family home?
No, we did
Okay.
not.
It happened to be the first one I looked at, and I thought it was very
It was pretty good.
exclusive of the types of things that we're
I
trying
like
to do
the
here.
delineation and the definitions, but I
But
tend
we-
to agree
we-
with Bob about the restrictions being a little bit more than what we were, I think, intending to do here.
And we weren't, it was just really to get the paper in front of you, give you time to look at it, read it. It's, in one way, it's unfair to ask you to take a look at it and really read everything, definitions and where it's going. But we wanted to get it out there.
It's good.
because
It gives us time to think about it
sooner it's out
and do
there,
some
you guys
research.
Have nothing to do one night, you can sit back and read about adult family
If you guys
homes.
want, I'll shoot you a couple pictures of some of the ones that I've done, just,
Yeah.
like the one I just opened up last month.
Yeah.
It's a great asset to the neighborhood. My guess is everyone's going to love it.
And for the most part, we've never had this, the question come up as much. It was always, we did it for developmentally disabled, and that fit very well. We've never really had a lot of issues, but now we're getting a little bit of a different you're going to have to adjust the clientele, and Green is not immune to this stuff. I mean, we have our share of people needing to live in group settings for reasons, you know.
Was it a conditional use over in Medina where you were?
No.
So there was no hearing? that-
No,
or-
single, it fits, when you go and look at the building code definition, 3 to 6 is a single-family home. It can go anywhere in the country. There's no restrictions. I mean, I think if Green did this, it's probably too restrictive, but I don't know if other communities do it. I can tell you Westfield fought me on it. As soon as I brought up some legal issues, they backed off and allowed it. So
So we need our law director to vet this as well, make sure we're compliant, so just.
I'm very sensitive about this.
Just take a look at it, and we didn't share this, she's actually not in the office right now, so we just want to get in front of you, so bring your comments to us. We don't want to, you know, I want to make sure it's legal, but we felt that since Hudson had a fairly good basis, it was something to share with you.
It's a
guys.
good start.
Thank you. We'll move on to